so we're good to go. Competition time.
Because no prisoners will be taken. Away we go then. Who's going to hook up? Woodall in makes a poor start. He does not like getting this thing off the line. Looks like Dan North and Jake Cordy, though, do get the thing off the line very nicely indeed, don't they, Bradley?
Yeah, that's right. It's Jake Cordy, number 53, leading the way there.
And tell you what, it looks like Mr. North has said, I want to win this one. Oh, here comes Woodall, though, up to third place. Strong move. Good hate. O'Hara in front of him, and strong under the brakes. He's using his braking power to intimidate, that's for sure. So Woodall safely up there as Cordy continues to lead North.
Daniel North leading the way at the moment. Pete Woodall on the inside, Jake Cordy on the outside, and first to third in one foul sweep, and Pete Woodall goes from third to first.
Losing out at the top end there, or maybe he just had a bit of a wobble. But brakes is where he's so strong, does he? No, this time. He does get taken. That is Dan North, I think, out in front, isn't it?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's Dan North. Jake Corty's got a run on Pete Woodall here, but Pete Woodall so late on the brakes, holds on to second position for the time being, at least anyway. Just about clings onto the apex with his knee, and he's already chasing hard after Daniel North. It's a back
in the first sector and over the line. It is indeed Daniel North who takes the checkered flag ahead of Jake Cordy and Pete Woodall. So fastest lap that time to Daniel North, who doesn't quite beat the lap record, but nonetheless it's still a very good time here. And of course these guys are in different classes as well. So we look away at the race leaders, but yesterday I think it was 2/3 yesterday for Woodall, am I right in saying? Or?
Yeah, I think you're right there, mate. Yep, absolutely.
But he is currently in second place as Jake Corty, bike number 53, leads the way ahead of the number 13. So he did a spot for Richard Blunt, the man from Bury St Edmunds. He
holds on to it. We're going to see an out-braking manoeuvre from Corty at the top. No, we're going to see them both go down, mate. They've both gone down. They've tumbled. I think they must have collided at the apex there. One of them must have tucked the front. Not quite sure what happened, but all of a sudden the first and second in the race have unfortunately taken to the gravel like a big gravel munching machine. Elbows well and truly in play, ready to go. Harbour, Marshall, Kearney, Gregory separated by 4/10 of a second. This race weekend for quite a few people, I'm guessing.
Yeah, number 23 of Adrian Kershaw was right up there in the mix as well, and Kershaw starting from the middle of row number 4.
Was in third coming across the line, so he's moved past on North.
Over Daniel North and Pete Woodall. It's around about 0.6, 0.7 of a second, and as they go into the second sector, they're not doing anything special in relative terms there. They're all yellow on the first sector times as they come across the line, but 3 laps to go now as Adrian Kershaw completes lap number 9 ahead of Daniel North by 0.7 of a second. And I said that no one's doing anything special in the first sector, and look at that. It's a purple in sector number 2, fastest lap of the race for Adrian Kershaw.
Lap. Here comes the checkered flag then.
And there goes Adrian Kershaw then, his first victory of the season.
These are all lots of new colours to us. So we've got Snorer on the grid there, so a hand in the air. Help to start there on the C1 bike. I think it could be the 87 leading down the hill. Looks like we've got some nice big numbers to read on these, if nothing else.
No, you're absolutely right though. Obviously someone's just run on there at Cascades, holding on to it just about, and well, fair play. They've been watching some Supercross there. They've got 1, 2, 3 riders.
Places indeed does roll as well, so lots of chopping and changing there, but Finn Chalky's the one who nailed it at the start there. Is he still leading, Brad?
And it's Josh Owens is found a way through, and Josh Owens looking to put some daylight between himself and Finn Chalk now, so that is your top 2 with Llewellyn on bike number 277 to next in third. It's 8 on circuit as number 36 just goes by in a lonely 8th place. That is Higginson.
Gaggle of bikes coming out. Trying to work out how far behind. So what are we looking at? We're looking at 56s for the leaders, call it 57s. So that means some of the slower guys are around about 10 seconds a lap slower. That flag has gone out now, so that's the big hurry up flag. The black cross on the yellow background means you've got a plan, you've got to wait. Oh, I've got a red flag. Have I got?
You haven't seen red flags being waved
yeah,
now.
Just hear something on the radio there, buddy. So I'm not sure what's happened to anybody there. Got recovery going out as well. So Can't see anything. No, I'm going to
The lights, out they go, and off we go then. Always a bit of a hop, skip and a jump there for that's Max McRae, and he shakes his head in frustration. Not sure if he's going to try and make a move already, but there you'll see the flashing wheels of 87 Finn Chalk leading the way. Big mover, Keith, is bike number 19 in 14th position. That is Alfie Davidson from the back of the grid. He's already up 14 places, making
particularly technical individual, Mark said, so fair play. He's looking after everybody.
Just a quick one, Keith. Sorry, we've got a rider down. Looks like one of our rookie riders down at the lodge there, unfortunately. So I'll try and keep removing the bike from the grass there. But unfortunately for Abigail Marshall, that is out of 4th place in class.
Well, that's a great shame her championship ambitions, but no doubt she'll be back this afternoon.
3-4 on that final lap, Keith. So Josh Owens was really pressing on.
Wow.
So,
okay, I'm not being funny. That's half a second quicker than Josh Leading, and for those who don't know Josh Leading, I can promise you he was a very quick rider. There's no two ways about it. So, wow.
Yeah, I think Josh won 2, maybe even 3 TB500 championships at those points, didn't he? So,
certainly did.
So Owens, Chalk, Davidson, all across.
We're just using his pit action tank from his old compartment, just having a bit of fun.
Number 8 is coming to the pits there, unfortunately, Keith. So we've got one less rider, but that will promote Max Maud and Calvin Grimes.
Give you a big disadvantage when the going gets straight, which it doesn't look very long around here.
And Colt Dwyer, so everybody moving up a position. I can see the 44 as well of Mark Sugden for the race leader. Here he is now out of Deard's lead to take the checkered flag yet again this weekend here at Alton Park. And it's a 54.278 for Josh Owens.
Wow.
Video, and away we go then. Oh, terrible start there from pole position. Very slow off the line. He's been swamped to the lights before. Tell you what, not much of a wind. It's going to be, I think we could be looking at some lap records today. What do you reckon, mate? I'm telling you, we will get a lap record in this class because this is a new field for us as well. So whoever's the quickest in this race will be going home with a lap record. Find his way past about 3 people if he wants to take home a medal here.
Yeah, I think McRae's trying to stretch this out from looking at it from here because he's got a little bit of a gap, only a little bit.
Whoever's got the orange wheels, they're in your team, they're in front.
Here we go then. Up front straight for the throw plate. 6-3 game for one last time to go. 0.056 consolation prize down north for the lap record.
Clicking into first gear, red lights are on, all eyes on the lights, and they go out, and we are racing now towards Redgate. Finn Chalk looks like he got a good start over your 3rd place rider at the moment there, who likewise has a bit of daylight between himself and that gaggle of riders battling for 4th now. Battling for that 4th place position, and there is a challenge for 4th there, challenge around the outside actually for around about 8th position as well. So lots of riders all fighting for the same track space, and the time around is Finn Chalk, the man from Scotland, as in towards the braking zone for Goddards they go, 19 and 87 in that order. And then we've got a great battle now for 3rd place. It looks like Dan North is just in.
Yeah, so Finn is a serious contender on these machines. Now, as you say, he is from Scotland, so he has a fair ways to travel. And I wonder how many other riders we've got this weekend that we haven't seen in the main championship. I'm actually surprised we've only got 32 runners and riders. And talks the talk and Finn chalks the chalk as they come across the line and separated by 3/10 of a second. But of course Davison doesn't score points, so it is a gold medal there for Finn Chalk, so he'll be well pleased with that. Here we go, 1001, 1000, oh, a little bit sooner. Oh, that might have been a jump out the back there, 100% sure. We've got people on the start line watching these things, can't tell one from the other. This isn't.
It's hard to tell, isn't it, Young? So I was watching in the middle of the pack there, and in the middle of row 6, bike number 27, Richard Hayward went pretty much skyward and on the initial jump there. But Richard Hayward, I suspect, maybe losing a few positions on the run down toward Redgate. But
for that particular summation, mate, they were certainly the class of the field earlier, and a bit like the rookie 1000, we saw the two top riders absolutely sprinting away.
Move, but Chalk says no and holds on around the outside there for the number 87. Does he run it a little bit wide there? Alfie Davidson still has that inside line, and that'll be the prime line as they go through Hollywood in towards Craner Curves. But further down the order there, McRae makes up 6 positions in 3rd place ahead of Swift, Corty, North, O'Hara, McPherson, Kershaw, Woodall inside the top 10 ahead of Carver, Sugden and Osborne.
See that gaggle of bikes arguing over 3rd place, 3 abreast into the hairpin as Chalk continues.
Oh, Chalk's wide. Chalk was wide as they went in towards Goddard's there, and Alfie Davidson just has the inside.
Because we forget that Chalk and Davidson are strictly speaking in different classes, but as Matt was saying earlier, it doesn't matter who's in front of you, you just want to beat that bike. It's as simple as that.
Yellow flags at Melbourne Loop here, unfortunately.
Once
Melbourne,
again,
yellow flags going out there, and no overtaking in towards Melbourne. If that yellow flag is...
So fair play. Alfie Davidson does indeed take the win from Finn Chalk, and I would say, to be fair, when they came into the braking zone where the yellow flags were waving, I would have said Davidson was bikes, and of course the riders who are on board them. Down to the old hairpin we go. Drake and Goff, that's your top 20 over the line. Having a quick look, Carter loses 3 places, Corty loses 2, Carver makes up 2. So lots of chopping and changing throughout the field. Danny Goff making up 5 places there. Everybody safely across the line for the first time of asking that. Away we go then. Is that somebody missing from the front? Didn't quite catch before they moved on. Asking. And yeah, that wind seems to have picked up again. So these little 500s are going to get blown about just a little bit down through the Craner Curves, unsettle the bikes, and of course the riders who are on board them. Down to the old hairpin we go. Going into Melbourne Loop at the moment.
Yeah, Adrian Kershaw, I think that is, on the 23, who's just slotted up the inside of the older or younger McRae. It's records there with Alfie Davidson.
No need to worry about the lap records whatsoever. Conditions here a little bit cloudier actually. The sun definitely seems to put its hat on at the moment, so things maybe not as ideal as they possibly could be, but we saw a good air temperature here, but that wind is very spray coming off their rear tyre. If they spray off their tyre, it's wet. If there ain't, there you go. But I don't think it's anything to worry about. I think to look at those lap times, we're not getting the split times coming through here. But where are we? We're 5 laps into the race, so unless we suddenly get a short, sharp downfall, obviously if the red flags went out now to declare it a null and void race or an end of race, we would have a result. So they're looking to pick up 25 points here. At the moment it is McRae with the advantage. What do you see there, mate?
I was watching the number 31 of Marshall and the 93 of Gregory, both rookies, both fighting for the lead in the rookies at the moment, and they were 22 1,000ths of a second separating them across the line as we go on to this final lap.
Throughout the field, so there's absolutely nothing to worry about. I know it's a bit nerve-wracking if you're sitting in the pits thinking, oh, is it going to change? But at the moment there's nothing to worry about as we see Chalk again. Now he's dropped down to 3.5 seconds in the lead, so a very comfortable lead. He's losing a couple of seconds a lap, but he can easily afford to do that. The leader, he's nothing to worry about.
Through an Adrian Kershaw, it's almost mirror signal manoeuvre. That's as close as it will be in the CB500s at least anyway. But Luke McRae tries to hold on around the outside of 1 and is on the outside of the line at the moment alongside Daniel North in 3rd place. But it's 2x2 now between Adrian Kershaw and Luke McRae for 4th place. Almost banging elbows on the run in towards Goddard's. Luke McRae late on the brakes, just fires it up the inside of Adrian Kershaw for that 2nd place, but in the meantime Finn Chalk is across the line to take victory ahead of Dan North, and it is Adrian Kershaw and Luke McRae, unfortunately knocked off of the podium. He's in 4th place overall, but that will still be 3rd place in the C2 class. But as you said there, Keith, personal bests for 2nd, 3rd and 4th.
Swift not turning up for work. Oh, that was either a very good or Very optimistic state, quite safely through there. Now comes the tricky part, navigating your way safely through the Craner curves. The dreaded Craner curves. We've seen a few casualties there this weekend, most notably on Thursday night. We did see, unfortunately, Ben Wood go down very heavily indeed as well. The other thing with Finn is he's in the lightweight class, which is being led at the moment by Abigail Marshall on good consistency, I think.
TB500 racing, isn't it?
Yep, sure is. Kershaw is strong through this section. He has proved it every single time of it. Just that's a gaggle of bikes behind him, though, isn't it? There's three. Turn. He's powering out. That's a good ride from Luke McRae there. He is doing it very proud. He has found some extra pace on that last lap. That battle continues behind him, and obviously Finn Chalk is going to come out of the corner and take yet another win. Congratulations to Finn as they come out. Oh, some good drive there from Kershaw. He's pulling alongside. That is as close as you get across the line. I actually think that went to Kershaw.
Kershaw's been credit, yeah.
Kershaw to me, exceeded by 0.015.
That's right. Here we go then, we're away, and blimey, nobody's away better than Adrian Kershaw. He's lapped, locked up beautifully as well. I hope, yeah. Let's see if you can hear anything going on there, and see if you can pick up a number. Looks like the 110 machine hasn't tripped the timing beam over the back there. That's Will Kearney, I think. Good way to start racing. Always figure a class like this is so much better than something like a big 1000cc machine where you're going to chew your way through tyres and money at a great rate of knots. These suckers here really are low maintenance, low, and the racing is basically just as good. If you can ride one of these quickly, you can ride anything quickly. Pace being shared by both North and Carver. I tell you what, the way Carver's going, Luke McRae better look to his laurels, and all three of them, to put it bluntly. So here we go then, down from the gooseneck in towards Mansfield. It's Adrian Kershaw from Dan. He's almost riding pillion with Adrian Kershaw there. Is the number 39 of Dan North. Then Luke McRae is just 10th or second or so as the red flags go out, Keith.
So hundreds, and they're changing positions for about 8th place, but it is Adrian Kershaw who leads the way from Dan North, and then the number 29 machine of Robert Carver in third, and then they all fan out into around about 3 abreast, 4 abreast almost, as they go down the back straight here, up towards Park Corner for the first time. ENF as far as we're concerned at the moment. Leaders now coming down out of the hairpin towards Park, but nonetheless this is good racing, isn't it, mate? What can you see? Well, I've got them 3 wide, and it's difficult to tell who's going to come out on top in this one. It's almost handlebar to handlebar. Who leads the way on the 39 bike, and up the inside goes Adrian Kershaw into the chicane, and that stands up Sean O'Hara. See, he goes yellow, it's a 102, so about half a second slower. So I have to say, he's going to look like a comfortable win now for Dan North, but nonetheless a solid second place for Luke McRae there, being supported by his brother. Richard Hayward isn't out there. The red lights are on, and out they go. And that is a good launch there from Adrian Kershaw. Daniel North seemingly caught napping them, he's dropped down to third, but they were so quick off the line. Keep your eye on those ones there, because Dan North, the man who took both wins yesterday, he's dropped down to third or fourth.
Yeah, well, he knows when to lead a race at the end of the day, doesn't he? He'll be going silly anyway. Yeah, certainly the first few are through the gooseneck safely, and Haddock there just before. Yeah, Carver certainly seems to be hooking up nicely in the wet. We do speak about people there for second place. I think that's I won't see who that is, but yeah, we've got a definite change to second place now. Let's see if that second place man, now they're up into that place.
1 second quicker than Luke McRae in that first sector, but the man with the pace as well is that of Dan.
Leading the way. Kershaw absolutely flying. I thought he was going to do this at the start, after the start he got, but I was surprised to see him.
23 who takes the victory in this race. There is the number 39 of Dan North. Third place, 29 Richard Carver ahead of Luke McRae, and then the 44 of Mark Sugden. And a fourth, Robert Garon, and red lights are out. Adrian Kershaw makes a good launch there on number 23, light green machine, and across there goes. That was, I think Luke McRae's right there in the mix as well, so keep your eye on the yellow number 16. I believe that was Luke, and then they'll be over the crest and with you shortly.
They're already with me, my friend, as you say. I'm watching down through the field, all a little bit of a twitch there from Kershaw's bike out the front. I think that might be that McRae or Carver. Trouble is the side numbers of some of these boys are not particularly well legible, shall we say.
And North, and it's Mark Sugden rounding up the top 5 at the moment as they go over the top of the mountain in towards Hall Bends. And looks like a few challenges there potentially. It's always a difficult one to try and make a challenge in towards Hall Bends there. And then it's very much first in class for Colt Dwyer. Then it's Dean Carver ahead of Sean O'Hara by 0.9 of a second. And coming across the line now is the number 93 machine of Gregory, the first of the rookies. In number 23 of Adrian Kershaw, who takes victory in the Thunderbike 500s ahead of Luke McRae on bike number 16.
And away we go. Oh, for a little bit of fresh air under the front wheel of the number 24. Off the line though, it's the number 39 machine of Dan North, I think, who's actually managed to put the power where it belongs towards you, Bradley, and you can tell us who you think is leading, mate.
Yeah, I got them here. It's one of the leading brothers. It looks like number 332 there. So that is Will leaning, who's leading the way from Dan North. Then it's Luke McRae, and I tell you, almost 3 wide down the back straight here, Keith, already, but it is Will leaning.
Great position there. Ollie McRae goes back one, then it's Reeve O'Hara making up one.
To the white line on the exit of the gooseneck as well, and he really does use every single
sorry mate,
to
you
go on.
interrupt the leaders down. I've got the leaders sliding out of the scenery or something. That's the sort of racing we expect from the CB500s, and you're going to see that gaggle of bikes just by you about now, I think, Bradley.
Yeah, got them here now, and Ollie McRae's looking to put a move on his brother there, and he goes side by side there, almost at the knocking elbows, but it is Ollie McRae who moves up to third place, but with the 2 bikes slipstream. Dan North, number 39, they're 3 wide once again as they go in towards Park Corner. And well, Josh Leaning is well out in front of this one now. He's through Chris Curve on towards the left-hander of the gooseneck now, but the number 24 then leads the way. But we'll keep our eyes firmly on that battle for second place, and that is Luke McRae. You can see the orange wheels and the white crash helmet there of the number 16 of Luke McRae through the left-hander now. In fact, he's just dropped down to second, third, fourth, fifth place now, as Dan North is in second. Then it's Adrian Kershaw, Ollie McRae, Luke McRae, Dom Herbertson, and then the next race, because nobody's going to go close to the 41.690 that he got. I'll have a look at the lap record in the break and have that for you. Josh Leaning, not the first checker flag he's seen, but that's the first one for a while, and certainly the first one at the British Motorcycle Racing Club. Coming across the line there in second place, keeping his championship very much alive, that is Dan North. Tom Herbertson does indeed finish in third place. Yeah, got him here, and it is Leaning who leads the way ahead of Adrian Kershaw, and there's Josh Leaning and Dom Herbertson, number 24 and 96, who are going side by side. Just watching further down the order there, everybody coming through safely, which is great stuff.
Leading, somebody cutting the chicane there, a couple of people getting it wrong with the chicane there. They'll have to be relegated a place, but they'll go through to the marshals and they'll sort that one out as the leaders come across the top for the first of 6 laps here. Will these Josh, and we'll wait until the screen catches up with everybody else, because
these 2 as well, and yeah, Ryder is up and perfectly okay, but it looks like Mel just took the front there, so we've got wave yellows as you go from Charlie's 1 into Charlie's 2. Ryder is up and perfectly okay, but we'll pick up a number when they don't go into the second sector. But
and Hayward, and they were separated by less than 1/10 of a second, the 3 of them, as they came across the line, and he'd love to go home with 2 of them on his dashboard tonight.
Will still has it at the moment from Josh Leaning, but we do have just, well, this is the final lap there, so Josh Leaning is right in the slipstream there. He pulls out to the right-hand side. That'll give him the inside line, 4 Park Corner. So Josh Leaning, number 24, he does just have a wheel in front of his brother Will as they go in towards Park Corner. And it's going to be about who's going to be latest on the brakes then. And, well, you can just know that you don't want to lose out to anybody on the circuit, but even more so your brother.
Yeah, one of the last opportunities to overtake coming into the bottom of the mountain there, not been taken by Josh Leaning. He just wasn't close enough, and his brother anchored up very late indeed. Over the top we go. There's literally a bike length between them as they work the Hall bend. As the leaders come out of barn for the final time. It looks like Josh is going to go for the last dash. Slipstream, here he comes, and loses out by half.
They're red, they're out, and we are racing. And that was a hop, skip, and a jump for the number 16 of Luke McRae. As Ollie McRae comes, I'll tell you what, that was very close there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You can't see very much at all. I'm going to try and pick up the numbers with what limited vision I have, but it's a 24 machine leading the 23 machine. That's what I can tell you. So I'm going to come into the chicane, and there's been no change at the front, but we come into Mansfield. All of a sudden, that is a change, as is the 23 sliding up under the who's the 23? That's Adrian Kershaw, yeah. And I think Adrian Kershaw might have taken over.
Sorry, Keith, we've got a rider down there. Somebody taking evasive action, just about holding on to it, but the bike's in the middle of the circuit and just about sliding off to the inside. And can't quite see, the number is unfortunately not visible, but the bike is on the inside of the circuit, so it's not posing a threat to the riders on the exit of the chicane. But we do have a rider down. They are up and okay. They're just walking off now to the outside of the circuit, and will be greeted by the marshals. But rider is up and okay. We'll get a number in just a second.
Well, flight is that battle between McRae, Corty, Ollie McRae, of course, and Horner. That looks like that's going to be where the actual fighting is.
because I have to say I think the top three, they all kind of have their pace, and that's why they finished pretty much that way yesterday.
So mate, we've got a yellow flag at the bottom of the mountain as well. We've got a waved yellow at the bottom of the mountain. I can't see anything from...
Here's one for you. I'm not sure how they've ended up there, but somebody's on the track going up the hill. Very unusual place. The marshals and the gooseneck are coming to the other side of the fence. The rider is up and okay.
Oh, sorry, we've got red flags. Yeah, red flags going out now.
Okay, I wonder if they were watching.
Red lights are on and out. It's a good start there for the number 24 of Josh Leaning and the 39 of Dan North.
Yeah, he certainly does, and leading by name, leading by nature as he cranks it hard over, coming out of the Charlies, and that's not his brother in second, I don't think. I think his brother actually could be getting relegated by a couple of more places as a few people are playing the slipstreaming game there. Challenging up the inside there into the bottom of the mountain as well. Popular place to pass, of course. Over the top they'll go, and they're going to be working their way through the twisty bits, through the hall bends there, into the hairpin. Short shoot from the hairpin into barn, really not an overtaking place at all. And then we'll be punching away out of barn over the line. We'll be able to tell us exactly who's doing what.
Got them right here, and here's Josh Leaning who leads the way from his brother Will Leaning. So 24-3-3-2, that is the order as they come across the line. 16 Luke McRae, 73 Ollie McRae, and 39 Dan North, but 96 Dom Herberson right there in the slipstream.
Themselves and the third place man of Luke McRae, who's looking quite stable there at the moment. And I think that is still Josh leading Will just by a bike length or so. As we see a bit of a challenge going on there for about sixth place. There go the Leanings into the chicane. They flick it through the right, the left, and tucked in very tight indeed. Will is trying to, that's his brother out the front though, isn't it? That's Josh leading the way, isn't it, mate?
That's Will Leaning leading the way.
Will Leaning, okay.
Will Leaning with those blue leathers. He's the man leading the way. On the way through on Ollie McRae on that lap. Sean O'Hara, Declan Reeve, Robert Carver and James Tucker is your top 10. But of course, James Tucker in the C1s, he has a 0.7 of a second advantage over Jake Corty. But the race leaders already passed you. There goes Dom Herberson.
They passed me and they're changing the lead. Actually, it was the leaders. You're right with the plural, because it looked like Josh worked the slipstream absolutely beautifully. His brother had a look over his shoulder to see where his brother was. And the answer was lining himself up for a perfect pass there. They are literally side by side as we come around Chris Curve. I'm going to see him come around the gooseneck. This is a brotherly love battle. Out they come. It is the blue leathers of Will who is back out in front, but Josh is not going to give up on this one, you know it. They're going to come across the timing beam. Be interested to see if anybody goes purple there. It is still Will leading Josh coming out of the chicane. Surely he's only got one more opportunity. I don't think he's quite close enough to suddenly steal that lead at the bottom of the mountain. Certainly isn't. Did we see any purple dots come up, my friend?
No purple dots, but I'll tell you what, Will Leaning used every millimetre of the tarmac on the exit of the chicane there. He's really pushing on now. There's no purple in the first sector, but we're talking hundredths of a second away from that purple first sector. So Will leads Josh by just shy of half a second as they go into the woodlands. We're looking now up towards Barn Corner. They've done Hall Bends, they've gone through the hairpin, they're out of Barn now, and it will be another victory here for the 332 of Will Leaning ahead of Josh Leaning. The clutches are in, first gear engaged, the lights are out, and it's a pretty much equal start from everybody on the front row there. Luke McRae makes a good start from row number 2. There's one over the crest and into your side.
Okay, I think that's Will Leaning, who hasn't made such a great start. It's the 24, though, of Josh, who is absolutely leading the way. Will is down there in 4th place at the moment. You just know that's going to be a temporary state of affairs as he pulls past the first of his rivals to claim that 3rd place. Again, desperately close. This is going to be a 6-lap race, I take it, mate.
8 laps on the time.
8 laps. No, that's good. I thought we had the time to give it to them, and I knew we would give them the laps if we had the spare time. So that's brilliant news for these guys. They're certainly going to be exhausted at the end. I just hope nobody's fueled for a 6-lap race, isn't he?
Up to the start-finish line now, and I'll tell you what, Keith, over the course of the weekend, this is as close as we have seen Dom Herberson to the Leaning brothers. So, at 1 minute 43.3, that is the fastest lap of the race, but it's not for the Leaning brothers. It is Dom Herberson, who is the fastest man on the circuit. He's right there, only half a second adrift from the rear wheel of Will Leaning, who in turn is only 0.4 of a second behind Josh Leaning. So that is your 3rd, 2nd and 1st place riders as they go in towards Charlie's 2 and onto the back straight.
Okay, looks like Will nearly gave Josh a rub there back to front, but there goes Paul's.
Will Leaning leads the way by 0.4 of a second over Josh Leaning, and Dom Herberson a further 0.8 of a second back. Luke McRae is in a relatively lonely 4th place there, 7.2 seconds down the road from Dom Herberson, but 6 seconds up the road from Dan North and Sean O'Hara.
On into the gooseneck. Are we going to see a change? No, we're not. It is still going to be Josh pursuing Will into the bottom of the mountain there. Up towards the chicane we go, and it's pretty much as it was. In fact, if anything, the gap has gone out just by a little. We're only talking a fraction of a second here, but I really have to say, unless he makes a terrible mistake, I think it's all over now. I think it's going to be 3-1 on the weekend there for Will Leaning, don't you, Bradley?
You've got some good eyes on you there, because the gap opened up by half a tenth of a second, Keith, in that first sector. So fair play. That's some good work there. Will leads Josh.
Oh, I tell you what, a little bit further back, we just seen a challenge at Mansfield there. Not quite sure who that is, but we just saw a good overtake on the last lap there by somebody there, desperately to get another couple of points in the overall championship.
Looks like Dan North and Sean O'Hara. That's the battle that we're looking at there. And the number 7, they're fighting for that final top 5 position. Across the line then to take victory. It is 3-1 to Will Leaning. Josh, of course, took victory in the first race yesterday, but is second on the other 3 races. Max Maud coming across the line now, albeit a lap down there for the class rep. And then Dom Herbertson comes across the line there, and he seems happy with 4 third places over the course of this weekend, waving to the crowd.
Here's the revs rise. Oh, Dan North, what a flyer. He gets away well, but I tell you what, the other two aren't too sharp. Off down into Wilson's to see exactly what's going on. And it's lots of blurry bikes coming through. They keep it upright. We'll pick them up in a moment, because they'll be the one running dead last as the leaders come up towards Agostini's for the first time through the tight corner that is Agostini's. Giacomo only ever raced here once, I believe, and that was on 4 wheels rather than 2, but hey, what does it matter? He's a great champion, certainly deserves a corner after him. Now, is that McRae from North? Is that the way it looks? And there they go, Agostini's once again. I didn't realise that's not a different view of what's the name? Of course, it's the second hairpin there at Agostini's. Too many sharp corners around here, mate.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one. I'm just looking down here in the paddock, actually, and the number 66 machine of, I think that was Billy Wood there. So Billy Wood was the retirement.
For the entire race, they're a little bit further back, and here we go. The 4 over the line as quick as that.
He's making a challenge now for second place as they go in towards Agostini's. So Luke leads them, which is always good to report, but there is a rider down, unfortunately, and out of the race in this Thunderbike 500 race 2 of 4 this weekend. But the rider is up and okay. We'll try and pick up a number when they don't go into sector number 2. In the meantime, that's exactly where our race leaders are now. Through the left, under the bridge, for Luke McRae, still leading the way. Of course, we do have 1.5 laps to go, and it's Hara and North as we watch them go through the left, and it looks like someone's just outbraked themselves.
Yeah, absolutely delighted to be taking that home, but having said that, we've obviously got some more races tomorrow, but right now what he is picking up is another 25 points, because there he goes to claim another win. It'll be an extra 5 points advantage over North, but that gap will still be out over 100 points, but we have still got 250 points on the board, so it's definitely not all over yet, so the big bird can keep her voice dry. What do you...
And away we go then. He's going to hook up nicely from the start now. I think it's going to be pole position there. Just to the front.
Just closed up the gap under braking there, I think, going into Brundles. Didn't want to call it too soon. We'll get a visual clue as they come round to Corums now. And yeah, that gap, I tell you what, that gap is definitely close from where it was on the back straight. It's down to about 4 or 5 bike lengths, whereas on the back straight it was probably double that. See how well he can hook up coming out of the corner.
There, and see Abby Marshall is first of the rookies in 9th position overall. Yeah. Second in class as well, with Luke McRae leading the way at 2 minutes 17.3 on that previous lap. Challenging for the race lead, so the number 7 of Sean O'Hara moves up into the race lead, does he? Goes out of sight briefly, but as they come around Agostini's, it is Luke McRae who's just about got the race lead back. Still had the race lead, but Sean O'Hara has got the cut back, so somehow Luke McRae has gone from the race lead down to 3rd position, but as you said there, Keith, it will probably change in the next couple of corners anyway.
Yep.
Good 5-way battle coming across the line at the moment as well, and that is between Hayward, opened up on this lap alone, on this final lap, that is to say, for Luke McRae over Sean O'Hara. But round of applause goes out from his good lady and brother. Takes the checkered flag, 3 wins out of 3 races, 2 minute 14.437 as well, Keith. That is a new lap record on the
437. Thank you. That's the first race of the day technically, and it's also our first lap record of the day.
Riches, and we can see the yellow and the orange wheels of Luke McRae leading the way.
In there after the previous laps, of course, Corty, Carter, Osborne, Carver, Woodall, then the next.
go out and away we go. Who's going to hook up? It's going to be McRae from pole position there. Kershaw gets away quite nicely on second on the grid. Lots of wobbling, weaving, a whole lot of rattle cans gone into these bikes as well. Amazing amount of colour as you come to the Paddock Hill bend for the first of 9 times.
So it's McRae side by side, 16 and 73, but it is just Luke McRae, is it, who will lead them across the line. But Sean O'Hara, he wants to get in on the party as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That was proper elbow-to-elbow stuff over the line. That was a great drive to the line there by Luke, and lap record 54.960 on the first flying lap. Well, I don't think that's going to stand, because I reckon we're going to get that down a little bit more.
Ollie has the inside line and just nudges his brother out wide there, so Luke McRae now relegated down to second position, because Ollie McRae, number 73, he takes the lead now. A whole lot of room there, but he just about found the seat width gap there for the number 39 of Dan North, and he promotes himself now up into third position. So this has been a great lap for the number 39. He was fifth, he's now up into third. Just a 10.2 behind them, but it's side by side between Dan North and Adrian Kershaw as they come across the line at the end of lap number 7. So we are now on to the penultimate lap.
Second and third are holding themselves up just that little bit. This allowed McRae to open up their side. Oh, how close do you like it? That's a proper little elbow rub going into Paddock Hill bend there between Kershaw and McRae. That's how they came across the line there. Oh, have a look. Luke's lead is surely going to be challenged up into Druids. Are they going to anchor up later? No, he's really good on the brakes into the top there. The 5 of them round the corner. We're just losing the one at the back just a little bit. We'll worry about that in a moment. We come down to Graham Hill. Are we going to see a challenge? Kershaw can't quite do it. That is Kershaw. Is that
Kershaw in second place?
Yeah,
Ollie McRae had great corner speed through Graham Hill. Can he carry it into Surtees? He's got the inside line on Adrian Kershaw. Just nudges him aside there, finds his way up into second place. So it is Luke McRae leading from Ollie McRae.
Now which way is we're going to go off the corner here? I think that Luke's going to have the slightly better line. I really think, yeah, he opens up the gap by 1-2 bike lengths. This is going to be critical as we come to the line for the checkered flag. Here we go. It is going to be Luke McRae taking the top spot ahead of Ollie McRae. Third place.
Dan North pinched it on the line.
Advantage there is to the game there. A little bit of a wave there, or is that just a bit of a straightening thing? Not quite sure, but we've seen almost side by side between the brothers. About a bike length in it. Was 0.193. This time it's 0.127. 55.128 for Ollie McRae is the fastest lap of the race. He goes purple in sector 2, but still yellow in sector 1. So there's a faster lap out there somewhere as Adrian Kershaw passes Dan North once again to change the positions there. O'Hara, Corty, Woodall, no great changes there. Osborne making up 2 on Hayward and Carter. Down the hill, those out of change. That is Ollie who's got the better of Luke. Now, can he hang on to? Would have got him under brakes at Druids Bend there, I think. But the slightly lighter brother is right on the tail of his bigger brother, literally in every sense. I'm not quite sure what the age gap is between them. It's always hard to tell who's McRae's. They're all lovely guys, the 3 of them. Max McRae, the other racing McRae, unfortunately injured himself in a bit of a motocross training spill, so he's out of action for the rest of the year. We do wish him well, guys, as if they need one. North and Kershaw behind. They're getting there side by side across the line. They were separated by 0.1 of a second, another 0.010, and it's O'Hara with another fastest lap, 54.893. Doesn't quite snick the lap record, but I tell you what, it's impressive stuff as Luke McRae leads Ollie up the hill there.
Looks like we've got someone just running, taken to the grass on the exit of Graham Hill Bend, but they're back onto the circuit now, so rubber and tarmac back together. As Luke McRae still leads Ollie McRae, but that fight for third position is most definitely not over. Adrian Kershaw, 5th to 3rd, runs it wide. Does he just about hold on to it? Dan North will have the cutback. Oh,
I tell you what, O'Hara's looking for a double cutback and a double toe as they go into 30s. The 3 of them, there's a 3 abreast, almost into 30s. Out front, McRae's no change there, and it's still Luke leading Ollie. But I tell you what, this battle for 3rd is going to go all the way to the line. I wouldn't be surprised actually to see Luke McRae get the fastest lap this time round. He really has turned up the wick, I think, just a little bit. That battle for 3rd, though, this could be absolutely anybody. It's going to be Luke McRae beating Ollie to the line. Here we go then, over the line, literally side by side. I couldn't call that one. I really couldn't. It shows us 0.004, which is absolutely nothing at all. Sure enough, it is Luke McRae with his PB that time of 54.972. So you've got to be in the 54s if you want to be on the podium here. And fantastic stuff. Kershaw, North, O'Hara, Woodall, Corty, Carver.
Here we go. Oh, a little bit of a hop, skip and a jump there from the number 7 of Sean O'Hara, Dan North, who finds his way through. Doesn't need a second invitation as Luke McRae slots into the race lead. Who took both wins yesterday. He leads them on bike number 16. The yellow bike with the orange wheels. That's Luke McRae ahead of Adrian Kershaw. Dan North, Sean O'Hara. The inside, I think that's Adrian Kershaw who's taking the advantage in this one. Here they come around Druids and down on towards Graham Hill Bend. So it is Adrian Kershaw then who no, it's Sean O'Hara who's found his way through. So number 7, Sean O'Hara, he is up into the race lead ahead of Luke McRae, Adrian Kershaw, and Dan North, as you said there, Keith. It was a leading quartet because the number 39 of Dan North is trying to find his way through. It's right in the slipstream, but McRae leads it. Dan North in 3rd position ahead of Sean O'Hara by less than 1/10 of a second, and Dan North goes purple in sector number 2 on that lap as well. And that is to say the purple in sector number 2 is the fastest sector time of the race so far, as Luke McRae goes to the inside of Adrian Kershaw through the dip and up towards Druids. Then later on the brakes, holds that inside line nicely, does the man on bike number 16, the yellow and the orange of Luke McRae. But here comes Adrian Kershaw once again. He's late on the brakes, but not close enough to make a challenge on Luke McRae. Luke
big wobble there from the man in 4th place.
Sean O'Hara. Shortly, so clutches in, red lights are on, the revs rise, out go the lights, and we are racing for the Fine Audio and SF Parts Limited Thunderbike 500s, and it's a good start from your competition man Adrian Kershaw, but getting a slightly better start there is the number 16 of Luke McRae, because Luke takes a whole shot, he takes the race lead as he goes through the dip and in towards Druids. Looks like somebody doing a little bit of gravel trap in there, and down they go, unfortunately. But Ryder, as a relatively slow get off there, is just a little bit of a wiggle through the gravel.
A second quicker, that shows you how quick the lad is going. As Jake Cordy comes across the line in 3rd there, Dan North, again, he's right in the mix there, looking for another good finish.
Lap record in this one is currently Adrian Kershaw's from race 1.
54.640.
Yes, that's the
there
one.
There you go, I can remember a lap record, I don't believe it. All good. Look at the change there. I think Osborne and Carver might have swapped places there. Look at the way the lights went out. We get confirmation of that when they come back to the line, as it's another purple there for Luke McRae. Here he comes, head in the shed. He would love to go away with a quartet of wins, but more important than that, 7, 6, 8. He's just missing out by 1/10 of a second. Again, we go back to this. It's fractions of a second in this game, and I tell you what, this has been one of those close to the lap record, but not quite days. It's been one of the worst I've ever seen, I think. Look at that gaggle of riders who just came across the line there. That was Marshall from Horner, from Hayward, from Carver, from Carter, from Dwyer. Those guys separated through the Siggins and Kearney also, separated by literally 2 seconds, covering all those riders, I think.
On as well. It turned out to be a relatively lonely ride for Abby Marshall, but she was right in the fight, and she is in the moment as well, because there's 7 of them.
Sorry, mate, Pete Waddle's just sprung back onto the board there. So there we go, it wasn't Pete Waddle. That's good to see. So Ollie McRae right at the back there. We know he's got issues, or his bike's got issues, to be fair to Ollie. Roland we lost on the first lap there out of paddock as well, as McRae comes across the line. 54.882, so nothing special there.
So we've got, what's that, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, loads of bikes. There's so many, I can't even count that quick.
You ran out of fingers, mate. Came into a relatively small space of track. Basically, the gap between the exit of Druids, or halfway from the exit of Druids to Graham Hill, that is how many bikes are in that gap. They really are absolutely going for all of the 57s. They really are locking them up. So the quickest one in that bunch is Reeve, actually. He's got a 55.924. But of course, he's only showing being in that bunch because he's been penalised. 54.707. Oh boy, that's less than half a tenth. No, whatever you half a tenth. Yeah, got it right. Away from that lap record. And again, he goes purple in one, yellow in the other.
3 wide there. Sorry, Keith.
No, 5 into Paddock Hill Bend. How much do you like your racing? Oh, what a shame this is for the minor placings. I wish this was the top 10. Then we'd really have to get the boys up to fever pitch. I tell you what, this is fantastic stuff. These girls and boys, quite literally, all having an amazing scrap out there. Look at them rounding Druids. It's got to be no more than a couple of seconds between the whole lot of them here. Down into Graham Hill we go. Oh, leader goes a little bit wide there. Abby, that is a pink putt. 3 abreast all the way to the 30s.
Colt Dwyer, number 26, and Abby Marshall to his left. He had Jamie Horner to his right, but Abby Marshall comes out on top at the moment. 3 wide at 30s, but, well, almost a single file now through McLaren's and on towards Clearways and Clark Curve, but that is incredible. So if you're at the front of you are in 6th position. If you're in 7th position. If you are at the back of the group, you're in 19th.
Right, here they come then, and it's going to be 9th over the line there, so 9th down to 9th line,
20th now.
9th down to 20th, and that is going to be a spread. Okay, so what are we looking at here? 23.036, so that is 1.8 seconds. Let's call it 1.9 seconds, let's be generous. All those bikes, and they're just all, it's almost like they're parading rather than racing. It's not the speed, it's just how coordinated they all are. They're all keeping it very nicely together there, and at the end of the day,
you can't say he's holding me up, because as soon as somebody gets an advantage, somebody else goes past as well. So it's all chopping and changing. Out front, Luke McRae is now 9 laps into this race. He's 2.5 seconds to the good. Best lap of 55.014, so he's not quite able to claim that lap record. I do wonder if the lap record would have gone yet. They got, mate.
There's a good fight between Dan North, Jake Corty, and of course Declan Reeve on circuit, but Declan Reeve unfortunately has that jump start penalty of 10 seconds, but nonetheless they're just having a great three-way fight. It's Dan North at the moment who's up into 3rd position ahead of Jake Corty. In fact, Declan Reeves now in 4th ahead of Jake Corty, but this is for on-track position. Looks like further down the order, Abby Marshall, first of the rookies, coming under pressure now from Colt Dwyer on the inside. Jamie Horner trying to go the long way around, and does it pay off? It does. So Abby Marshall drops to 3rd in that particular battle. Jamie Horner looks to the inside, I think that is, and a few changes of position further down the order. 2 wide. Oh, a little bit of a twitch there from one of the riders. Looks like the number 110 is that. It was. So the 110 of Will Kearney, the 4th of the rookie riders in that group.
Yeah, I think he's going to hang on to the 4th of the rookie riders in those groups. I think he's going to drop back a couple of places. Interestingly, Luke McRae, if he put together his 2 best, fastest sectors, he would actually be on the lap record pace. All he's got to do is put the 1st and 2nd sectors together perfectly. Over the line we go then. 2 laps left of this action.
Involving 10 riders coming across the line now. There goes Colt Dwyer, Richard Hayward ahead of the 184 machine of Dean Carver. Then it's Ian Carter. Restart, yep, absolutely. Clutches in, eyes on the lights, we're racing.
Oh, fantastic start from Luke McRae.
Certainly is there. Tucks right in behind the number 87 of Finn Chalk on the run towards Redgate, and using all of the track and a little bit more on the approach there with Luke McRae. Really opens up Redgate for him as they all make their way round. A couple of riders off of Redgate, unfortunately.
I have a feeling that was Benjamin Round hot on his heels there.
Certainly could be there as the machines are retrieved and moved to a safe location up there at Redgate. But
a couple of rounds, but he's looking good. And that's going to be a fantastic battle to the end of this race for sure.
Certainly is, because there's him, Ben Round, Dan North, and David McConaughey all involved in that battle. Then it's a 2-second gap back to Liam McPherson, who has Tucker and Kershaw for very close company. In the grand scheme of things, Robert Carver is in a relatively lonely 10th position. It must be so fun being involved in a battle like that.
Yeah, when you're just back and forth and yeah, chopping and changing constantly for 6 or 7 laps, it's very exhilarating. People say that they feel like that the bikes are not very fast, but I can tell you at 110, 115 mile an hour elbow to elbow, and half feels quick. Speed is relative to what's going on around you, Bradley, really.
Absolutely. Well, on that previous lap as well, the gap is within half a second. It's 0.441 between Luke McRae and Dan North. 2nd position, and almost side by side there between Luke McRae and Jake Corty. Who's it going to be? That will go straight down to the photo finish. On the timing screen, it's been credited to
was Luke McRae. Just pipped it to him and in keeping everything fair for everyone.
Lights are going out in just a moment. Away we go. Oh wow, Finn hooks up very nicely indeed, doesn't he?
Yeah, great start from Jake Corty as well.
Okay, Jake, of course, is our lightweight man. Who, sorry, I didn't see the race earlier there. It was Finn from Luke McRae and Jake Corty. Here we go. Let's do a bit of a paperwork shuffle here, because so the problem with you guys is you've got 5 different things. Abby is leading the way in the rookies as we came into this meeting. Who's doing what out the front there, Sean?
It looks like Finn Chalk, as we would expect, followed by Dan North and Jake Corty, I think, going through Coppers up there.
Sorry, yeah, right. Finn Chalk leads them across the line once again. Let's see those sector times coming in.
There is a strong battle going on between Jake Corty and Benjamin Round as Benjamin Round goes up the inside into Redgate, and he's made it stick. Further back down the order, we've got Abby Marshall.
It's what you want though with the racing, isn't it? You want as close a racing as possible.
Well, this is it. We've got close racing all across the field. If we look at the split differences from 13th place all the way down to 19th place, they're not covered by a great deal, about 3 seconds. So it's very tight.
As Finn Chalk now comes out of Roberts once again, I think his lead is going to increase just a little bit there. It was 2.5 seconds last time. It now goes out to 2.9 seconds. That battle for 2nd place closest to within 0.3 of a second, with Benjamin Round is getting closer and closer. Corty not too far away, but a little bit too far back to challenge. He's got his hands full really with the rookie Tucker there, giving him a very hard time indeed. Dan North and a man who's claimed a couple of lap records, I think, during the year. Goes past on Carter. Aiken goes past on Baldry as well. So there's lots of chopping and changing throughout the field. Wood losing a load of places with that penalty as well, so that gets applied. He goes tumbling down the order. I think he might just hang on to... No, he drops. So yeah, he's inside the top 28. There we go. Not particularly brilliant, because when you lose 10 seconds in this field, you've lost a lot of time very quickly indeed.
I know it's a long way down for them as Finn comes across the line to start the last lap.
It does indeed. No, he doesn't take the last lap. He takes the checkered flag, actually, mate. Yeah, that was it. That's gone very quickly.
Oh, blimey. I thought he was still on 6.
No, don't worry. 20.049 now in the earlier race today. His best lap record was 20.043, so no, it's not quite a lap record. 0.43 that he don't worry about that. Oh, whoever that was who was fourth in the grid has made a terrible start there. Looks like some classic old packet left has got on there. Either way, we still have quite a ball of spray as we go down into Redgate for the first time, so I think that answers any questions about how wet the track is. Because when you've got spray like that coming off his tyres, they come across the line then, and it is still McPherson from McRae. Go on.
Dan North is in front of Jake Corty as well, so he's made up 2 positions on that lap.
Place of 13 points, there's only 7 points separating them. The live points update, 9-point advantage now to Dan North. That's a critical move as far as the championship goes. So McRae, he really needs to get a hurry on and try and find a way past McPherson, but he's already 4 seconds behind. We're not even halfway into the race. So I have to say McPherson is definitely looking good for his first gold medal of the year, I think. Let's see, where is he?
Yeah, I think Liam McPherson. I think it's maybe the first time we've seen Liam McPherson with us.
Yeah, I think you're right. You're saying he's one of your men at Scarborough.
Yeah, well, I've seen him at Oliver's Mount a few times, and likewise Scott Aitken as well.
Okay, well, yesterday he got an 8th place and a 9th place. So, you know, good results nonetheless, but nothing spectacular there. But in the wet, this is nothing short of spectacular. It really isn't.
The race leader coming through the left-hander to Schwantz and McCoy on the back straight here. But it's going to be very close between Liam McPherson and the number 16 machine of Luke McRae as they come through Robert Chicane very shortly indeed, because Luke went 1.2 seconds quicker in that first split. And here they are side by side, in fact. Luke McRae takes the race lead from Liam McPherson, and looks like Liam there just didn't quite get the drive as they came out of Robert Chicane.
Oh, Dan North also went a quicker, second or so quicker than his rival in the first sector there as well. So it's all chopping and changing. Maybe it's an issue with McPherson's bike. I'm not quite sure. He had a big old gap there all of a sudden. All of a sudden he's going a little bit slower, around about 2 seconds slower than his rivals in that first sector. And it is Allen there who moves up with the fastest lap as well, goes past Round and Corty.
And what Luke McRae would want here as well is if Stephen Allen can get in front of Dan North.
That would... Well, we've got 2 laps left. They're all very determined riders out there, of course. They really don't care about the class battle. They want to beat everybody around them, in front of them, beside them, anywhere else they are. So you're right, it's far from settled, isn't it?
Stephen Allen was 0.9 of a second behind Dan North as they started this penultimate lap, and he lapped 0.8 of a second quicker than Dan North.
But absolutely spectacular stuff. We'll wait and see us coming down the straight back towards us. We're going to have some back markers to play with as well. That's a back marking bike there coming out of the Robert Chicane there. Here comes the leading battle, while 3 abreast across the line. How close do you like your racing?
Dan North leading the way from Luke McRae. So Dan North, just when we were thinking he maybe overcome the 3rd place, he takes the race lead, and he leads by 1/100th of a second over Luke McRae as we start this final lap. But Stephen Allen seems to have the pace here as Dan Hartle looks across and moves out of the way of the leading riders. So North, Luke McRae and Allen, then it's McPherson, Round, Corty and Aitken 11.8 seconds away, but only 2.4 seconds covering the top 60.
0.7 of a second, yeah, that's 0.8 of a second, so that's absolutely ridiculous. Those guys absolutely flying. So we're going to have to wait and see where they end up. Obviously, this is very much a battle for title honours as well, and is that battle down to 2 or 3 bikes? No, it's 2, isn't it? They're at
2 heading
not
around
sure which 2 they are. I'm thinking it's got one of those has got to be North, because he just suddenly sounded the pace, and I think McRae might go with him.
McRae, I think, is out in front there. We'll watch on the timing screen here, and I should see the number 16. There it is, Luke McRae. He leads, but it was a personal best in that first split for Luke McRae, in fact. And Stephen Allen there, he went quicker than Dan North in the first split as well, but I don't think it's quite enough.
McRae is being shown as being credited with the lead coming out of the sector there. Obviously, they're going to have the outbreaking battle going into the tricky air conditions at Roberts there. They're 3 abreast, are they? No, 2 abreast, side by side. They're leaning on each other, coming out. The guy, one of them's gone down.
I'm not quite sure which one, and they come across the line.
It's Dan Luke McRae coming across the line.
That is Dan North, I think.
It is. It's Dan North. Unfortunately, he's gone down.
Oh, that's a great shame. Within sight of the line, Dan North takes a tumble into the scenery. Goes. That will be nil point for Dan North. This, as far as Luke McRae goes, this could not have worked out better at the end of the day, because this is going to hand him the advantage going into the last race of the year. So all of a sudden, that 27 points gives him 507 points. So he's got a +9 advantage going into the last race. So
Clutches in, click it into gear, all eyes on the lights. Out go the lights, and the Thunderbike 500s are now underway. 10 laps for the Thunderbike 500 machines, and it's a pretty equal start from the front row there. Stephen Allen, Luke McRae and Dan North. Of course, let's not forget about that championship that will be decided in this final race. Luke McRae, number 16, he's slots into 3rd position. And difficult to tell there. I can certainly see Dan Hartle on that white, not fluorescent orange machine in the around about 3/4 of the way down the field there. But Luke McRae in 3rd position. Keith, I'm just going to have a quick look at the championship coming into this race.
Yeah, go into the championship. What do you want to know about the championship? The overall championship, mate?
Overall championship.
Overall championship, well, it was Dan North in 2nd from Luke McRae by 9 points. So that's advantage Luke by 9 points. Jake Cordy's pretty much out of the overall championship, as is Adrian Kershaw, but it's very close between Kershaw and Corty. Only 16 points coming into this round. Obviously, Sean O'Hara's not racing this weekend. Robert Carver could also then pass on Pete Woodall for placing as well. But the main action, 1st and 2nd, North and McRae.
So if McRae has a 9-point advantage, he needs 4th position.
Don't. Too many permutations. Somebody beats somebody else. There we go. That'll do nicely. Over the line, then Dan North, unfortunately, didn't have a very good opening lap. He lost 4 places, comes over across the line in 7th place there. And it was Luke McRae there in 2nd place.
Yellow flag down at the old hairpin.
That's going to be, is that 1 or 2 riders, actually? One, no, definitely just the 1 rider. Just lots of marshals coming very quickly down at the old hairpin. They'll wait to see who doesn't trip the timing beam over the back there for the 2nd time of asking, as they make their way into the position now. Yep, there they go up to Coppice. Oh dear, look who doesn't trip the timing beam. Look at your screen.
That's not good.
That's not good at all. Looks like Luke McRae, unless there's a transponder issue, he seems to be the only one who has not tripped the timing beam up there now. I wonder if his big championship rival there has seen that incident. And yes, he would have, because he would have been well behind him. If he noticed it is his rival, then all of a sudden he'll know he can roll it. Well, he's still going to score points, of course. That's what Dan North has got to do. He's in 7th place at the moment, which is 9 points. Oh boy,
who has more wins?
No, wait a minute though, he's going to move up a place, of course, because McRae is going to drop back one, isn't he? There we go. He's up to 7th place.
7th, that is
9 points.
9 points.
Oh boy, so let's wait and see. This could be a real action attraction. Okay, coming into this race then. Now Luke won the last race, so that's going to add to his total. So Luke has more race wins. It's as simple as that. Twice as many race wins. So Dan North definitely needs 6th place. If he can get 6th place, it's going to be won by a single point. That is fantastic stuff. We've seen some really good finishes this year, haven't we? Some of the closest finishes I ever remember, to be fair. Championships going down to the last race on the Dark Side. It's absolutely brilliant, isn't it, Bradley?
It certainly is. I'm just having a look there. I mean, it's great to come down to the last race of the season and potentially be decided by 1 point. I mean, they've scored over 500 over the course of, what, 20, 30 odd races?
Yeah. Very close indeed. He needs to get 1 more point, 6 or better. Oh, you think that sounds so easy going out, because Dan's won 5 races as well so far. So, you know, he's a race winner. He's a lap record holder, former lap record holder, at least. Not quite sure of all of the places he has, but I've definitely put his name onto the list at some point over the year.
Yep.
Jake Corty there, then it's James Tucker.
There's Dan North coming across the line now.
And is Llewellyn there? Yeah, Llewellyn's there. There's North as well, so he's still in 7th place. He is
half a second.
Oh no, you'd be beating yourself up if you lose the championship by half a second, wouldn't you? We've still got 7 laps left in this race. The tension is unbelievable. Colt Wire 2.2 back.
And this is the battle for 6, and it is Llewellyn and North. The gap was 0.502, it's now 0.349, and that's the position that Dan North needs.
Yep, James Llewellyn. I don't think he'll know it. That's the problem.
Here we go.
Oh, he's going to go for it down the inside, but James Llewellyn fights straight back at him. You're right. The thing is, Dan North probably doesn't know he needs that 1 extra position, does he? Because you're going to chuck everything but the kitchen sink at it, aren't you? You're absolutely particularly last lap, last quarter. You've got nothing to lose at the end of the day. If you get it wrong, well, you get it wrong. Bad luck.
but you just know survival instincts are going to go out the window. No, I'm afraid, sorry for everybody else in the race, we've really got to concentrate on this leading battle. It's going to be coming back to us once again, and Steve Allen with the fastest first and second time. Green in the second sector, that gives him the fastest lap of sub 129 again. As the rest of them come across the line, here comes that battle. And over the line, there goes Llewellyn and North. What's the gap there? It's now at 3/4 of a second, so it's toing and froing just a little bit, and we're at the halfway point, Brad. Yeah, big time to hurry.
Go.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what you expect from your fan club in the grandstands, really, isn't it? You expect nothing less than that. Go. Well, unfortunately, he's gone back to the second. 1 second. 1 second even. He goes 0.3 of a second slower than his rival, James Llewellyn. He's going to miss out by a second or so. That's such a gutting thing.
Here we go. He's much closer this time around. Right, James Llewellyn takes a look over his right shoulder, and Dan North is a lot closer than what he was last time around. It was 1.1, it's now 0.3.
Oh, 2 laps to go.
2 laps to go.
Yeah.
4 miles. 4 miles left of racing.
Oh boy, he's closed right up. He's within 2 bike lengths of James Llewellyn. This is so critical. This is amazing stuff. Oh, it's going to be so much, so many fingernails getting chopped down right to the bone here as they disappear out of their sight down through the crane of curves into the oldie hairpin down there. Let's see where we are. I don't see any challenges down there. If I lost sight of them, it gets very confusing around here, doesn't it? Where are we looking? It is the number 39 we're looking for. There he is, just coming through. Schwantz in a moment. They'll be there in a moment. Can we see anything from this distance? I think that's advantage Llewellyn from what I can see there, because Llewellyn's slightly lighter bike. Up they go through McLean. A little bit more corner speed, I think, from North there. Up they go towards. I do hope we got the numbers right, mate. I hate to be getting this excited for no reason. It really is brilliant stuff as we go into Coppers for one last time. Up from Coppers, up towards the Robert Chicane. There's going to be one more lap left. This is going to go down. It's 0.3 of a second. Imagine losing a championship by a lousy 0.3 of a second. He'll rue every little mistake he's made over the year. Now there's Llewellyn.
That's Tucker.
Here we go. We're waiting for Llewellyn.
Robert Chicane there, and he's through. Dan North's through.
Dan North has done it. There we go. He's got the 6th position. He's got the extra point that he needs.
One more lap to go.
Now Llewellyn, how badly does he want that pies back? Has he just done it by that single solitary point? Do we see a championship won by a point? He can't afford to make a mistake. Here we go then. It's going to be Luke McRae. He's going to be cheering James. But fair play, now he's through. He looks to be opening up the gap just a little bit. Fantastic stuff. This is Daniel. I don't know if he knows he's done it, but he's done it on the last of the penultimate lap, really. Fantastic stuff. They're going to work their way around the back of the circuit there. It is going to be the 39 of North leading the 277 of his great, well, not his race rival, I should say, to be fair to James Llewellyn. I'm going to apologise once again to Steve Allen, because he is doing a brilliant job out in front. He's leading by 3/4 of a second ahead of Scott Aiken and Benjamin Round, all looking for their first wins and podiums and things. But the first championship, the first British Motorcycle Racing Club TB500, Thunderbike 500 championship, is it going to go to Dan North or Luke McRae? So here we go. That's going to be Allen over the line, takes the win. I don't think he knows that he's actually won the race. He's over, he's clear, he's done it. Well done to him. Scott Aiken in second. Here he comes. Right, then we've got a battle between Round and Cordy. That's going to come across the line. It's going to be settled by Ben Round, then Cordy. James Tucker is up next. Then comes that battle. Is it going to be North or Llewellyn? Everybody craning their necks to see who is going to be coming out of the corner. Does Dan North hang on to it? He does indeed. Does he seem to do? Yes, he does. His fan club at work in overtime. He wins the championship by a single solitary point with that fantastic ride to 6th place. He'll be absolutely delighted by that. And Brad, what a great finish to a great year. 60 riders have competed for points and prizes in this particular race. To win by a single solitary point tells you a lot about that fantastic championship, doesn't it, mate?
Yeah, absolutely. I know that Max Ford will be absolutely thrilled with that one.
Sean O'Hara is Everyday Racer podcast.
All about it on the Everyday Racing podcast.
We will indeed. Brilliant stuff, guys. Thank you so much for that. That was very entertaining indeed.